I'll never forget the day I met Miss Evelyn. It was one of those days that started like any other, but ended up changing everything, not just for me, but for everyone at the Grand Horizon Hotel. It was a rainy afternoon, the kind of rain that doesn't just fall but pours, like the sky had decided to let go of everything it had been holding back. The lobby was quiet, the kind of quiet that feels heavy, broken only by the soft hum of the air conditioner and the occasional clink of glasses from the bar. I was behind the front desk, organizing check-in forms and trying to stay awake, when she walked in. Miss Evelyn didn't look like what most people would expect a hotel owner to look like. She was a black woman in her late 50s, dressed in a simple but elegant navy blue pantsuit. Her hair was pulled back into a neat bun, and she carried herself with a quiet confidence that made you feel like she could handle anything. She didn't have an entourage or a fancy car outside. She just had a small suitcase and a warm smile that made the whole room feel a little brighter. I greeted her like I would any guest. "Welcome to the Grand Horizon. How can I assist you today?" She smiled and said, "I'd like to check in, please. I have a reservation under Evelyn Carter." I typed her name into the system, but nothing came up. I frowned, double-checking the spelling. Still nothing. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't see a reservation under that name." She didn't seem surprised. "That's odd. Could you check again? I made it weeks ago." I tried once more, but the system showed nothing. I apologized again and offered to help her book a room. She agreed, and I started the process. But just as I was about to hand her the key card, my manager, Mr. Thompson, walked over. Mr. Rye Thompson was a tall man with a permanent scowl. He glanced at Miss Evelyn and then at me. "Is there a problem here?" I explained the situation, but before I could finish, he cut me off. "Ma'am, I'm afraid we're fully booked. You'll have to find somewhere else to stay." Miss Evelyn raised an eyebrow. "Fully booked? But your employee just offered me a room." Mr. Thompson's face tightened. "There must have been a mistake. We don't have any vacancies." I was confused. We did have rooms available. I opened my mouth to say something, but Mr. Thompson shot me a look that shut me up. Miss Evelyn noticed the exchange. She sighed, picked up her suitcase, and turned to leave. But then she stopped. She looked back at Mr. Thompson and said, "You know, it's interesting. I've owned this hotel for 5 years, and this is the first time I've been turned away from my own property." The lobby went silent. Mr. Thompson's face turned pale. I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't realize." "That's the problem," she interrupted, her voice calm but firm. "He didn't realize. He saw a black woman and made assumptions. He didn't bother to ask questions or treat me with the respect I deserve." Mr. Thompson stammered, trying to apologize, but Ms. Evelyn held up a hand. "I don't need your apologies. What I need is for you to understand that this kind of behavior has no place in my hotel or anywhere else." She turned to me and smiled. "Thank you for your kindness earlier. It's good to know there are still people here who treat others with respect." With that, she walked away, leaving Mr. Thompson speechless and me in awe. Later that day, we received an email from corporate. Miss Evelyn had called an emergency meeting with all staff to address implicit bias and customer service standards. Mr. Thompson was reassigned to a different role, and the hotel underwent a complete overhaul in how we trained our employees. That day changed everything for me. It wasn't just about the hotel. It was about seeing how small actions, like a smile or a kind word, can make a difference. And it was about understanding that everyone, no matter who they are or what they look like, deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. Miss Evelyn became more than just the owner of the hotel. She became a reminder of the kind of person I wanted to be. Someone who sees people for who they are, not what they look like. And for that, I'll